Ameer, what's up, my buddy?
What's up, Brandon? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing very well, dude, and very thankful to have you on the show today. I've been following what you've been doing for a while. I told everyone a little bit in the intro what you're about and what you do. We had a little bit of conversation before we started recording about the optimal health warrior, and I want to just hop right into that and have you describe what an optimal health warrior is.
An optimal health warrior is an all-encompassing, I call it superhuman. Because today I see kind of a problem in the world of health. And health is everything. Health is physical health, mental health, spiritual health, financial health, community health, relationship health. So health is everything. It's not just about, biology and chemistry. And the problem I see is too many people, organizations, and ideas are focused on one point of view. Meaning, oh, it's only the food matters. Oh, it's only money that matters. That's not the truth. In nature, everything's connected. If you're looking at like string theories, quantum physics theories, for example, the quantum entanglement theory, we're all one. We're all one big consciousness interconnected together at the exact same time. It's quite exciting, quite fascinating stuff. That being said, a warrior encompasses everything. A warrior has a healthy body, healthy mind, healthy spirit, healthy financially, healthy with the community, healthy with the relationship. And if you can combine all of these aspects in your life and build on them day by day by like 0.1% or 0.2%, you're way ahead of the curve. Because no matter what life is hitting at you, you can respond to it properly. So God forbid something happens on the streets, you know how to defend yourself. Or maybe something happens in your business where there's like a takeover or the market crashes or there's some kind of disturbance in technologies. You're not, pulling your hair out of your head. You're ready for that because you're prepared. You know what's coming. You can deal with that situation. So that's what an optimal health warrior is. It's a person who has every single realm of their life under control.
Yeah. So when you become an optimal health warrior, I bet like when you work with clients or, give talks, you want to help people build to some kind of baseline, right? Something they can work from. What does that look like to you? Because it's so different. Everyone's normal is different. What do you try to get people to strive towards?
Einstein, Nikola Tesla, they all have a saying, to understand, I'm just paraphrasing it over here, but this is how I assimilate and digest their knowledge. They're one of my mentors. I have them in my mind. I always ask them questions. Sounds kind of crazy, but similar to Napoleon Hill.
I do the same thing.
And Einstein and Tesla, they say, if you want the answers, look deep into nature. Nature holds frequencies and vibrations. So if we look around the world, we've been here for a very long time. The world has been here, 7 billion plus years. Modern man, the last, 1.5 million years since Homo erectus. That's one of the theories. That being said, there are consistencies among humans around the world. And these consistencies can be found in nature. And these are the consistencies: water, sleep, and fun. Those are the consistencies I see among our evolution of the human species. So my whole baseline when it comes to optimal health is first starting with that. It's like, let's dig back deep into history and let's connect back to what nature's telling us to do. So let's start sleeping better, because sleep controls our hormones. Sleep controls our immune system. Sleep controls how much concentration I can have for the very next day, if we're talking about state of flow, etc. That's number one. Number two is we're made out of water. Without water, we don't have ATP. We can't make proteins. Our double helix DNA nucleotides, they can't be formed. Okay, so having an abundance of fresh water on a daily basis is very important to me. And number three, when I'm talking about fun, this can be tied into you time. It can be tied into times throughout the day that you take to just chill out, man. Because this day and age of like super go, and I'm at fault here, man. I'm one of those like 10 years ahead type of people. Like I'm wired that way, super, ADD to the max. However, I have to come to the realization that's not life. Life's about enjoying in the moment, as Eckhart Tolle talks about, as all the, as self-help people talk about, and to take time for yourself throughout the day. Whether that is, for example, I'll tell you what I do. And this is one of I have my breakthroughs when I do this, is no matter what, I don't care, rain, literally rain, shine, snow, whatever it may be, I make sure I have a half an hour walk each day. No audio tapes, no nothing. My mind just goes, and I walk, and I look around, and I'm just in the moment. So you have to take out certain chunks of time throughout the day to recharge your mind, recharge your body. And those are the three fundamental principles. As you can see, I didn't hit in diet, I didn't hit in anything else. I hit in the core principles of what it means to live on this planet.
That's awesome, man. And I couldn't agree with you more how important those three things are. But if we were going to go another layer deeper into each one, when we talk about optimal sleep, what are your beliefs around sleep and like the optimal amount of sleep or the optimal type of sleep? Are there rituals that you go through and that you teach people about to make sure that they're getting optimized sleep?
Yeah, so once again, going back to what nature teaches us and how we evolve. See, man is kind of foolish. We have this big egotistical monkey on top of us thinking that we can control nature and tell nature what's best. And that's not the reality. You can see it happening today with the World Health Organization saying by the year 2025, they're predicting at least 35% of the world population will have some form of cancer. At least half the population will have a metabolic issue, high blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, heart issues. That's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. The question is why? So let's tie into something to sleep. We think, oh, we can sleep when we want, how we want, nothing. There is no consequences at all. That's far from the truth. That's a complete opposite. There's huge consequences. So my sleep thing looks like this. Let's rewind back in time and see how we were sleeping before the inventions of technology, before we were living in the modern world. Okay. It's quite simple, actually. We went to bed when the sun went down. There's no light. We got up when the sun got up. As simple as that. And we have been programmed this way for billions of years. Our cells have photoreceptors on the skins. Our eyes connected to our pineal gland has photoreceptors. These receptors are stimulated by sunlight, by quanta packs, as Einstein talks about, energy packs. Pure protons and pure electrons get absorbed into our body. It's exactly the same as Superman. So people are familiar with the comic book. Superman goes to the sun, he gets re-energized. Like, yeah, I'm re-energized. We are no different at all. That's why we feel good when we're in the sun. It's not just vitamin D. Vitamin D is one aspect of it. The secondary aspect of it is it literally energizes our cells. And through the billions of years of evolution, our cells have actually developed a circadian clock, like a Rolex. And that Rolex will tell our Rolex in our cells will tell our body, hey, hormones are released at this time, immune system is activated at this time, hormones close at this time, hormones are open at this time. However, when we're going against nature, meaning when I'm bathed, like I'm over here in artificial light, and when I'm looking at my electronics at nighttime, when there should be no light according to nature, your body still thinks it's daylight. And your daytime hormones, such as, cortisol, your stress hormone, epinephrine, testosterone, it's all activated at nighttime when it shouldn't be. And now you're lying in bed wondering why you can't sleep, why nothing's, why can't you shut down? Well, it's because you're around fake light at nighttime. And I consider fake light at night are carcinogenic, poison for your body. So my routine is simple. I go to bed at 10 o'clock all year round pretty much. Around 8 o'clock, I shut down everything. There is no lights whatsoever in my household. I usually just take time to chill out. If me and my girl want to watch a movie, we'll put it on my computer with no internet. I have a program called Flux. And that program will emit an orange to a red dim type of light, which will stop the blue light. On top of that, I actually have specialized blue light blocker glasses I wear on top of that. And not to mention that all my EMFs, my Wi-Fi routers, everything's automatically turned off at 8 p.m. And pretty much I'm trying to live in a bat cave. Sometimes we even turn on the air conditioning to keep it nice and cold, because the colder the environment, the deeper the sleep you get. So that's my mandatory ritual is I stay the hell away from electronics, from lights, and I let my body think it's nighttime, which it is. Outside is nighttime, right? Mm-hmm. And so your body's melatonin will rise, which is your sleep hormone. Your stress hormone, cortisol, will decrease, and you go to bed like a baby, man. You're out like a rock. And in the morning, I make sure I get light. It's the opposite because light recharges us. So I don't have it here in my office, but it's at my condo, is I have a light therapy box. So I have these light boxes that kind of mimic the sun. If it's sunny outside, I go outside. But however, over here on the West Coast, it's cloudy a lot of times. So I need to kind of mimic the sun. So I have, these light boxes. I'll even go tanning half an hour a week. So I'll break up maybe 10-minute sessions, 10, 10, 10, and kind of get that, vitamin A, UVA, UVB, electrons and protons energy from that. But that's really important that you have light throughout the day, and then you have no light at nighttime. And that's simple. That's my most maximum tip I can give, and my most simple tip I can give at the same time.
And what have you noticed as far as like energy levels go when you got into this this rhythm, this ritual of going to sleep when it gets dark and getting up when it's bright?
I don't get lulls. I don't get dulls. I'm a fucking Energizer bunny, man. I'm sorry if I swear, but
No,
I just I keep on going. Like people talk about they get dull. I don't get dull. Like I just go throughout the whole day. Man, I'm launching 3 companies right now. I'm consulting for a bunch of other things. It's like people say I don't have the energy. You don't have the energy because your lifestyle stinks. That's why you don't have the energy. And I'm here to burst your bubble. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't like to say, oh, you can do this. No. What you're doing sucks. And you need some slaps in your face like this to wake up and realize you need to take hold of your own life and start living according to nature. You want to maximize your life, you want energy, you want to be healthy, you want to make money, you want to kick ass in life, get your sleep in order. As simple as that.
So you go about 10 p.m. to 5 or 6 a.m.?
I give or take. If sometimes, depending if my morning's not super crazy, I'll do like free running, so free sleep time, meaning I don't wake up with an alarm clock. I just wake up whenever. However, on the mornings that I do have something, I make sure no matter what, I'm at least waking up when I'm out of my REM sleep. So you go from stage 5, which is like the rapid eye movement sleep, to back to stage 2, but you have 5 stages, but you fluctuate from stage 5 to stage 2. But when you're stage 5 and you're getting, that's the stage that your body's actually recycling all your, I say, daily processes, filing like the computer. Okay, this goes here, that goes here. As well as lately they found out that your cerebral spinal fluid goes into your brain and actually removes plaque. So think of a dishwasher, right? You put the dirty dishes inside of the dishwasher, we turn it on, it cleans the dishes, right? Your cerebral spinal fluid does the same thing. However, when you jog yourself out of REM sleep, you stop the cycle, which sucks, which is not good. And that's why you feel groggy and all that shit, right? So it's really important that you find out your natural sleep cycle. And if you can wake up in like stage 2, that's kind of optimal. There's apps out there, like I can send you links afterwards for the apps that people can monitor their sleeping patterns for 1 week. I don't recommend always using it, but just for 1 week so you know the timing. So for example, if you go to bed at 10, at roughly 5:45 you are at stage 2. However, maybe your alarm clock is for 6:30, but at 6:30 you're at stage 5, which is not good. So in fact, it's more optimal to wake up earlier than later because you're in stage 2. You're not in that cleaning mode. You're almost in the awake mode.
Okay. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. So I hope everyone's really absorbing this information that Ameer's given us. And I'll put those links, if you send them to me, in the show notes, so people can experiment and try this out for themselves. So I'm curious, you're always on. I mean, before this conversation and now that we're talking, like you're on, you're locked in, you're energized. Are you someone who also experiments, you're very into biohacking? Do you experiment with nootropics and things of that sort? Or are you just natural?
I've tried everything. My office right now, I had modafinil, I have Noopept, I have all the racetams. I've done them all. I'm a self-experimenter. I've done, even before my health journeys, I've done a lot of drugs, but I always like to experiment. And truthfully, for me, nootropics don't work. It's just how my neurotransmitters are wired and my gut bacteria is wired. For me, I personally don't need them. The question is I have with a lot of people who so-called need them. They need something to function normally. That's an oxymoron. That makes no absolute sense to me at all. How do you need something to function normally? You should be functioning optimally, not even normally. You should be functioning optimally with your lifestyle. So nootropics, I believe there's a time and place for them. For example, people don't realize coffee is a nootropic. Tea is a nootropic. Food, like chocolate, is a nootropic. So, nootropics aren't just these supplements, So always ask yourself is, why do you need these nootropics? Why do you need to take every single day racetams? Why? Why can't your body function? Or why is it that you can't concentrate for 2 hours? That's a freaking problem. That's a big problem that you're not really addressing, that you're kind of just putting a Band-Aid. And we're not even getting to the whole situation with the negative feedback systems. You know, your HPA axis, your gut bacteria creates neurotransmitters. You know, you're talking about dopamines, GABA, serotonins. It goes to your brain. Your brain sends these neurohormones, neurotransmitters down to your organs. Everything's communicating back and forth with your vagus nerve. However, as soon as you eliminate these external stimulations, such as nootropics, your body's like, wait, whoa, what's happening? I'm kind of slowing down over here. That's not cool, man. You know, I understand if you're stressed out, that like you're on crazy deadlines, that you have to do unnatural things, because that's a situation what it calls for. Maybe you're under a book launch, a date or something that you have to work 15, 16 hours a day. Maybe then you can help your body with extra elements such as nootropics. But to say that you need nootropics almost every single day, I don't buy that. And I think there is an underlying issue that you really need to address.
Yeah, man. I'm really glad you said that, and I'm right in alignment with that. I mean, I think in Western society, we've been programmed to feel like we're not enough all the time. It's always like, you know, it's so socially acceptable to like need to relieve stress. So like, I'm going to smoke weed, I'm going to have a beer, I'm going to smoke a cigarette, or I need more energy, I'm going to get a coffee, I'm going to, wherever, maybe go to cigarette, go to nootropics, versus like just understanding like, here's my baseline. I feel fucking phenomenal without anything. And then if I need a performance enhancer, maybe like you said, like I have to work 15, 16 hours a day and it's almost unnatural, then I use a performance enhancer in that case. But otherwise, like your normal should be phenomenal. And if it isn't, then you really need to look back within yourself and like look at your daily routines and understand, what am I doing that is draining me? What things do I need to start doing in addition to make sure that I can have abundant energy? So I love that, man. I appreciate you saying that, because I think even in like the biohacking world, the perception a lot of times that I see is that like you kind of need these things to be functioning optimally. I think that you can do it naturally.
The problem with the biohacking world is, in my eyes, I may be biased, I may be a naturalist, I find it non-sustainable in the fact of, okay, you have to have these ridiculous routines every single day. You have to take these extra aids every single day to be optimal. I'm like, how does that make sense? Come on. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense. So you're telling me right now that for you to be an optimal human, you need to take all of these things, and God forbid you break your ritual one day, you know, your life's going to collapse or something like that. God forbid. You know, so it makes no sense, you know, absolute sense, you know. So that's why it's like, you have to make yourself the most optimal version of yourself without the aid of anything. I just recently re-watched the movie The Hurricane, featuring Denzel Washington, Reuben Carter. Crazy, I mean, absolutely crazy story about the former world champion, you know, getting framed, going to jail for 30 plus years for murder, finally getting, you know, released after 30 years of fighting the cases. Like, absolutely insane. But what struck me in the movie, well, Reuben was talking about, he's like, I went to jail, but I didn't make jail my home. He's like, I made sure that I did not need anything from them. I didn't need their food. I didn't need to work for them. I didn't need nothing. I made my cell, where he was living for the 30 years, I made that my sanctuary, where all I needed was me, nobody else. That resonated deeply with me. And how this relates to your life is, do not rely on anything. You only need yourself, and improve upon yourself. You know, God forbid war happens, and war can always happen. You know, we don't live in this utopia of a life that we think, oh, war can never happen to us. I'm here to break another bubble. Yeah, it can definitely happen to you. And if you have a strong body, a strong mind, a strong spirit, you know, for the most part, you can survive it. However, if you're dependent on so many things, you're going to collapse, man. You can't be dependent on supplements, on systems, on ideas, on crazy rituals, or else you're going to fail. So build yourself, build internally upon yourself, become a well-oiled machine. So no matter where I put you, you know, right now there's war in Palestine. There's about 100 known wars going around the world that we have no idea. So God forbid I pluck you away from North America and I put you in those countries of war. Can you handle yourself? How are you going to behave? Same idea though. I can pluck you from there and put you on a nice tropical island. How are you going to behave, right? But the moral of the story is no matter where I put you, you're still you. You're not relying on anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's big. I mean, taking it not quite to extreme, but like, entrepreneurs like usually are living lives where they're constantly faced with all these different stimuluses. Like a lot of times we're reacting. A lot of times we're facing very new stimuli every single day because, we're the business. And so you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to stay in your peak mind state when you're on the road, when you're traveling, when you're hit with things that you didn't expect. And I'd love to hear, something that you do. I mean, if it's not a ritual, what is that? What are some things that just keep you constant? Are there just specific things that you do every single day that maybe they're not a ritual in a certain order, but you do, and no matter what, they bring you back to your center and allow you to just be on? Or have you just built such a strong mental capacity that you can just keep it?
I'm not saying rituals are bad. I have rituals. It's just I don't care if I do them every day. That's my thing. I don't like my day is ruined, because some people say the day is ruined. My day is not ruined. I don't care. So what? I want to spend extra time with my girl in the morning instead of doing my journaling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to pull my hair out. Like, I enjoy both a lot, right? So for me, I do have some regular morning rituals, but they don't make or break who I am. And I'm going to tie this story to Simon Sinek. So Simon Sinek is one of my other mentors, and he has 2 amazing books. It starts with Why is One, which everyone should read. And the second one is Why Leaders Eat Last. Now, he talks about the whole why philosophies. And the problem today is we're doing too much of what. We go into business doing what. What am I going to do? What is this? What is that? That's the wrong approach. The question is why? Why are you doing the things you are doing? So you asked me, Brendan, what keeps me motivated? I would say it's my internal goal and passion to inspire and promote a new generation of free thinkers and thought leaders. That's my why. Now, I will use any medium necessary, whether that is through building businesses, whether that is through building foundations, whether that is through writing books, whether that is to speaking. Those are just mediums I use to educate the world about my message. So my why is what drives me. No external forces, no rituals. And that's what keeps me motivated. I'm in this for the long haul. The similar story with the tortoise and the hare. Who won that race? The tortoise, not the hare. I'm not sprinting. I'm not in a race from nobody. People talk about competition. I got no competition. It's only me with my why. And I'll do whatever it takes in this world to deliver my message.
It's awesome, man. I think everyone should really reflect. And, after this interview, just think about it. What is your why? And what is something that's going to pull you and keep you on fire every single day? Because, we can sense your passion right here, Ameer. It's here, and it's very present, and it's powerful, and it's electric, and it's something that people can feed off of. And we need more of that energy. I love the mission you're on to get people in this mindset and, wake people up and get people thinking for themselves and get people thinking outside the box and finding ways to solve problems that, our world's facing, that individuals face every day within themselves. And it's a beautiful thing, man. And really appreciate it. Something else I want to talk to you about is your experience. You went to jail for like 6 months, correct?
Yeah.
Was that experience like a turning point in your life that really allowed you to get a reality check and push you forward? Because so many times we hear about people who achieve like these great things. They go through these really tough hardships. Like some people get in awful car accidents and then they're like, oh shit, like I better get my life together. Like this is the only life I have. Or some people, get cancer and they overcome it and they're like, I almost died. Like I got to roll now. And I'm curious, was your experience in jail something similar to that?
No, I want everyone to really understand that jail does not reform anybody. Period. It makes you a more efficient criminal, I should say. It's similar to the movie Blow with Johnny Depp, cocaine and everything. Yeah. He goes to jail and he's like, I forget the guy's his partner's name, but he's like, what you know about cocaine, right? So and
Yeah.
the thing goes from there. Like, it just educates them about the whole cocaine business, right? Jail's the same thing. There is no reforming. It's a horrible place that no human being should ever spend any time. The environment is vile, absolutely vile. The food is vile. Everything about it stinks. Like, there's no reforming. What helped me, though, was when I left jail, I was digging deep inside of myself, because before I went to jail, I found my soulmate, or she found me, I should say. So that's one of kind of the catalysts that kind of helped me out. Before we started this specific topic about the jail story, you mentioned people going from car accidents and creating amazing things. This kind of ties into Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. So there's a hero's journey, and there's a comedian story, and there's a tragic story, which becomes a hero's journey, becomes a full circle. So a lot of people, depending on where in the cycle you are, some may have, so say we're at the top of the circle, that's, the tragic story. Their life is so awesome, they're at the top of the roller coaster here. However, everything, hits the fan, and everything goes downhill, right? Then they go at the bottom of the circle, which is like the comedic story with this, smile like this. And at the bottom of the circle, which is the last rung of the ladder, you have a choice, an eternal choice. Doesn't matter where you are, whether to climb the next rung out of that darkness or to be swallowed whole by the darkness, right? And that hero's journey, that hormetic stressor of life pounding you, makes you to a stronger person, only if you understand that it's a lesson. A lot of people get pounded every day, but they don't realize these are lessons, and they get swallowed in by the darkness, right? So you become stronger, and these cycles repeat constantly. You're going to be constantly going through hero's journey your whole life. Some will be more difficult than others. Some may be easier than others. So for me, jail wasn't my turning point. What jail did for me was just gave me time away from, my regular environment, and gave me time to think. But in all honesty, it doesn't reform people. What helped me was, when I left jail, I had a choice, and I can almost picture by picture still remember the conversations in my mind. Was like, where do I go from here? What do I do? Remember, we're talking about Simon Sinek, what? And at that time, I met my girl, my soulmate, Fair, at the moment, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And honest to God, I don't know, something clicked inside of me that said, I don't want to go back to what I did before. And I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do, So I went back to something I did for my whole life, and that was like fighting. I did MMA. I did martial arts 18 years. I enjoy fighting as a high for me. So I went back to the gym, and it was at the gym that I kind of found my calling. I found nutrition there. I found a great community there. And it was my stepping stone to everything else in my life. I went into functional medicine, went into biohacking, and my mind improved. But the whole idea of jail helping people is crazy. I wish to God we can just completely get rid of jails all in total, because that system doesn't work. And it's scary in the United States, because United States has the most prisoners of any country in the world. Let me put this to perspective for you. China has 1.3 billion people. They have less prisoners than the United States. India has 1.1 billion people. They have less prisoners. Russia has more people, they have less prisoners. United States has more prisoners in the whole world. What's going on here?
Sick, man. It's just big business. I mean, that's a whole other conversation we could get into.
$450 a day in Canada you make off an inmate. That's the business here.
Jesus.
So no, jail did not reform me. No one should go to jail. However, eating a right diet, having a proper support community around me, listening to nature, taking time for myself, removing myself from a toxic environment, those are the keys for my success.
So would you say it was more like through that experience in jail, it was just like, it wasn't even a reality check for you? It wasn't like a shit, this could be something that I would have to face. It was more just like, I'm just really, my growth is being really stunted for like these 6 months I'm here. When I'm out of here, I'll have to just go back to reality, and I'll figure it out from there.
Pretty much, man. Like, if you're in jail, most people thinking, as soon as I get out of here, what's the next thing I'm going to do?
Yeah.
But the thing, though, is because they're the product of their environment, right? So epigenetics, we're talking about, or even Napoleon Hill, you are the sum of your friends. Mm-hmm. So look around you and see how much money your friends make, and most likely you make the same. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, but on average you make the same. Same thing with say you hang around with friends who are bad influence on you, well, most likely you're going to do the same things, right? So it's an environment that dictates your behavior. It's simple as that. So most of these people who leave jail, they don't have a support community. I would say I had a combination of taking hold of my own destiny and kind of, I wouldn't say luck, but like that gym, even though for some people may not seem as an environment that's the best for them, that gym for me was my life for 2 years. And it was a good environment. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing in the gym. People who are bodybuilding, people who are fighting, people who are doing kettlebells, they care about their health regardless, you know, and they're kind of fanatics, man. They're like, this is that way, but it's a good way of being fanatic. You know, at least it's in a positive way, and that's a good stepping stone. So if anybody out there is listening to this right now and they're looking for a community to connect and kind of like step aside from the community that they're not kind of vibing with or resonating with, I would say just go to your local gym. You know, people like, they poo-poo on CrossFit a lot, which I do agree to a point. Like CrossFit, I'm not going to get to the whole like topics of is CrossFit healthy or not, the actual movements of it. However, if I'm looking from a community aspect, it does wonders. Absolutely amazing thing. People's lives have transformed from joining CrossFit communities.
Yeah, I think that's so big, and it's something that comes up in a lot of interviews I've been doing, even early on in this podcasting, is that the tribe that you're running with is just so powerful in regards to the quality of your life, be it your health, be it your finances, be it your relationships, everything. And I'd love to hear from you. I mean, you came from a background of like not being around people who are serving you at all. And did you really, how have you continued to progress up in the circle that you're running with to allow yourself to get to that next level? I mean, I'm sure you got into like a circle or a tribe when you were training and when you're doing the martial arts and all that stuff. Have you got into even a different circle now with other people, or how's that evolution looked?
I read a book recently by Shane Snow, and as well, I just finished Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1. And a lot of people are always looking to step themselves up, meaning, oh, I need mentorship or I need to go to the next level. That's an unorganic approach. So when dealing with stepping up or evolving to a next phase of your life, Rumi has a saying, you know, yesterday I was clever, I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, I want to change myself. So the more you can improve yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually, educationally, community-wise, relationship-wise, I kid you not, you will become a magnet. You'll become almost this gravitational force that you attract others into you organically, not artificially, organically, and you create friendships. That's the key to evolving oneself, is looking inside and evolving you as a person. Rumi was very smart to say this, you know, and sometimes I have to snap out of it sometimes throughout the day because I have all these ambitions of, I want to change the world. However, no, Ameer, for you to change the world, you must change yourself first. You must become the perfect version of yourself every single day. So start with yourself. Don't go seeking things. Better yourself on a day-to-day basis. You know, read books, go to seminars, go to workshop, exercise each day, eat a healthy diet, go to sleep, and this compounds each day. You know, you can read a book such as this that may not make a lot of sense to you today. However, you read a book next year and you get a light bulb. You just upgraded your mind a little bit.
Yeah, I love that.
So this is very important. You know, always take time for yourself and work on yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I think it really hits home, because I think in the entrepreneur like community, at least from what I've seen, it's like everyone's always looking for like the next thing to grab to like get to that next level, or like the next level, like you said. And it really is so profound that like when you see these people who are really just mastering themselves, it's like all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, like this person, how'd they get so much success? It's like, it's because they've just been every day just mastering themselves and becoming more and more master over their body and their mind. And then you do become like this magnet for everything that you want, because they can't help but be attracted to you, because you're just living and you're playing the game of life at that level. So.
There's a Chinese saying, so my brother lives in China, and some of our businesses are in China. No one cares. That's a Chinese saying. I can't pronounce it in Chinese, but because there's so many of them, no one cares. The problem in the West is we care too much of what other people think. You know, Oh, what's Brandon gonna think? What's Ameer gonna think? What's Michelle gonna think? So in China, I was like, no one cares, man. There's 1.2 billion of us. Do what the hell you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care, right?
Yeah.
But that's good. You should have that mentality of, no, no one cares. No one cares what you're doing. So no one's looking. So the only person looking is you. So look at yourself in the mirror. Are you becoming a better version of yourself each day? What are you doing each day? When's the last time you read a spiritual book or a financial book? When's the last time you really dedicated yourself in the gym? When's the last time you took time to spend with your family, like truly spend with your family? When's the last time you took a walk outside? Ask yourself these questions. And if you keep on getting zeros instead of check marks, you got something wrong. And go back to the drawing board and transform those zeros to check marks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, our time, right? Our time is just so precious, and we only have a very limited time on this earth. And it's so easy to get caught up, especially with like these things around and like just like all the stimulus we have. And then, days just go by. I forgot what it's called. I was listening to someone talk about it the other day, but it's like this phenomenon where like, people are like, think they're working, and then like 4 hours go by and they haven't done anything to really progress themselves forward. It's like they've maybe checked an email, read some article, kind of like messed around their phone. And what you're saying is really just be deliberate about your growth every single day and understand how important that is for you and where you're trying to go. It's not about trying to reach out and, hustle everywhere else. I mean, yes, it's important to, be involved in like a community, but it really is, you have to look inward. And I mean, this has been kind of a cool epiphany for me, man, just having this conversation with you, and how like, I think just like when you create products and there's always like that feedback you're getting back, and like, it doesn't, like if you're really looking inward and you're creating the most powerful, wonderful things possible that you feel like are going to change the world, that's all that matters. And it's going to be something that resonates with other people. And it sounds like that's very much what you're doing. You've built an awesome following, and a lot of people are really passionate about, following you and the mission that you're on. And it sounds like it's because every day you're looking inward and trying to optimize and grow and become better.
Muhammad Ali has a saying, and it's this: a man who views the world as 70 as he did when he was 30 has lost 40 years of his life. Mm-hmm. So we have to keep on evolving and growing ourselves, and that's the only. See, it kind of ties. The movie with or the title Lucy just came out in theaters.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil it, but they talk about what's the meaning of life, and at the end of the movie, they tell you the meaning of life. So pretty much, I don't want to spoil the movie, but I have to say a little bit of it over here. You mind?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So basically, they're pretty much saying the meaning of life in Lucy was time. That's the only true thing we have. Time does fluctuate, though. Like if you go to Mars because of gravitational pull, time is different. However, time is still there. Regardless, time exists. So that's what we have on this planet. We have time. We have a very limited amount of time. So the question is, what are you doing to maximize your time? And are you happy doing it? A lot of people get sucked into routines and businesses and lifestyles that they think they have to be in. That's not the reality. You have choices, my friend. You can do whatever you want. You're not living in a country of dictatorship with guns to your head saying, don't do this, do that. If you live in any of the westernized countries, or even in, China, Japan, India, whatever, it's pretty much anywhere in the world these days, you have a choice to do whatever you want. So don't think for a second that you have no choice. Time is limited. Being a human on this planet is very simple. It's about enjoying as many experiences as possible with the friends and family that you love. That's very important. And living your day, literally day by day, being happy. And if you're not doing those two things, you should recheck yourself, because you're not really living at all. If you're not happy waking up, you're like, man, I can't wait to get to work, or man, I can't wait to crush the day, then stop what you're doing and ask yourself, am I killing myself? I made a video about this not too long ago. I call it spiritual suicide. Don't live this way, man. You have a choice. Everybody has a choice. You got to have the stu guts, as Italians say, to take hold of your own destiny and create your own future. Abraham Lincoln had this saying, hey, Abe, they ask a question for Abe. Hey, Abe, how are you so good at predicting the future? And Abe pauses, looks at them. He's like, because I don't predict the future. I make my own future. That was his answer. So make your own future. Go out there. Don't wait for anybody. Don't wait for directions. Carve your own path, and everything else will flow, as we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Beautiful. So on the topic of flow, I'll circle it back around. And every guest I have come on my show, I love hearing about their own unique experiences of flow. So you've done martial arts. I'm sure you've experienced it there. I'm sure you experienced it in a lot of aspects of your life. I'd love to hear a story that you've experienced that was one of your most powerful flow experiences. And so anyone who is maybe listening to this episode for the first time, flow is essentially that mindset you get into where time becomes irrelevant because you're so present, you're so much enjoying the moment that you're and you have so much practice that your unconscious mind allows you to perform better than you usually ever have before. So go ahead, Ameer. I'd love to hear a story, dude.
I've been in a million flow states throughout my life. I go to flow every day. It may not be the flow that we're thinking of, but I'll be working on client work. I'll be calling people, and literally time passes by me. No matter what, I get in a state of flow each day for 20 minutes walking. I lose track of time, and just my brain goes in la la land. However, there's one pivotal day that I had this flow. It was like 3 years ago, though. So I used to compete in kettlebell sport. So that's like the Russian national sport. So say in North America, you got like baseball, hockey, basketball. So that's the national sport of Russia. We have world championships and etc. So basically, we compete with two 32-kilogram bells. So that's a total of 64 kilograms on your chest. So you have to clean and jerk for 10 minutes straight. You can't stop or else, well, you're out. You're disqualified. So it's a very tough sport, both physically, mentally, anaerobically, etc. However, I was practicing for the snatch. That's one bell. That's 75 pounds. You're snatching 5 minutes on your right arm. As soon as 5 minutes is up, bang, switch to your left arm. Total of 10 minutes. So I was training, though, with a 28-kilogram bell. So you fluctuate with training. You'll do lighter, you'll do heavier, and play around until you get the reps higher, because the name of the game is reps, 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 reps. I don't know what it was, but that day it was kind of early in the morning. It was like 10 a.m. It was kind of dew on the grass, and I can hear the birds chirping, like it's just weird, like almost like a mystical kind of day, kind of weird, like secret garden-ish type of thing, kind of like that. And I pick up the 28-kilogram bell. The funny thing, though, is I usually have a timer, and I had the timer going for 10 minutes for the 28. So my goal was just max rep. But I think it was like 3/4 away, my timer screen blanked. And I'm like, well, fuck, I can't just stop, right? So I'm kind of just thinking in my head, how long would it approximately take? So I keep on going, man. I just keep on going and going and going, and almost to a point that I don't even feel like I'm there. Like, it was weird. It was to a point that, like, I was almost looking at myself doing it. It was like the out-of-body experience, but it wasn't really out-of-body. It was like, I know I'm there, and I kind of see myself on the side doing it. And I wasn't crazy out of breath. Like, I was out of breath, I was sweating, but I wasn't like I wasn't dead as I should be. Mm-hmm. So I put down the bell when I think the time is up, according to my brain. And when I look at my clock, originally I should have gone 10 minutes. I went 18 minutes and 37 seconds.
Wow.
I went 8 minutes and 37 seconds more than I've ever done in my life.
It's crazy, man.
Crazy. I never had that experience yet. I've had similar experience doing katas in karate where everything's zoned out. I get in a state of flow when I fight. Like when I'm in a ring, everything literally, like, I kid you not, everything whites around me. I don't see nobody. I don't see the audience. I don't see the fans. It's just me and my opponent, and that's it. However, I've never had this unique experience of flow as when I happened to me with the kettlebell. It was very fascinating.
It's amazing, man. I love hearing that. And what do you think allowed you to get into that state? What kind of preparation led up to that?
Nothing. I think it was the elements of nature, to tell you the truth. Because I said it was kind of mystical that day. It was like the dew on the ground. I was bare feet. I was grounded to the earth, so I was on the grass. I woke up feeling happy. I can see a little bit of like fog on the ground as well because it's kind of a valley where I was living at the time. The morning birds were chirping all around, and it was very magical, almost like vibrational. It's kind of like freaking, and I think that was the key to that flow. And the minute I picked up the bell, it just felt right. You know, the chalk in my hand, the moment I grabbed it, it felt right. And it's kind of freaky because usually my little alarm clock never stops. And on that day, decided to take a break. You know, the screen was dimmed for some reason. I couldn't stop. So all these things were contributing to that magical moment of reaching 18 minutes and 37 seconds.
That's sweet, man. And what about like leading up? Is there, I mean, for you, it was very like almost like a mystical, energetic experience where you felt like it was almost like there was something out. Do you feel like there's almost like something outside of you working to support you, like something almost like some people describe like when they do like superhuman like feats, especially in like extreme sports, like that they almost like get possessed, like it's not even their body anymore.
Yeah, you can talk about, for example, in quantum physics, I was mentioning earlier, you know, we're all connected. We're not individuals. We're a consciousness, like a beehive, or similar to like Star Trek, you know, the Borg. Resistance is futile. We're very similar, believe it or not. And there's that quantum physics theory of quantum entanglement, which our electrons are connected mind to mind throughout the world. And there's theories out there, and they've replicated these studies. It's kind of freaky that, for example, day one, you have a group of people who do a crossword puzzle, okay? Random people. Day two, the same crossword, but next group of random people. These are just people they literally pluck off the streets. And they keep on going. Day one, day two, day three. Each single day, the crossword is completed more efficiently and faster.
It's crazy.
How? How is it? How is that possible? You know, they also have a theory called the 100 monkey theory, which they noticed in some islands where one group of monkey sees, and for example, a fruit or something like that. They go to the water, they clean it, they crack it open, they eat it. Another monkey sees it and is like, oh, monkey see, monkey do. So that monkey copies that monkey, and he also cleans and cracks his fruit and eats it. Now, this is the freaky part. And this kind of ties into Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell talks about the tipping point. It's kind of similar stuff ties in. So roughly around like 100 monkeys, or there's a certain amount of monkeys it reaches on that island, that another island, say like 100 kilometers away, those monkeys are doing it. Well, how is that possible? How is it that this island with complete different monkeys is connected to this island? It's not. They're 100 kilometers apart. They got no connection. They're not even the same monkeys. They're different monkeys. Yet these monkeys are doing it. Roger Bannister, he broke the 5-minute mile mark, I think. I think it was 5 minutes for a mile. It was, I think, 4 minutes and something, right?
4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 37 seconds or something like that. No one was able to do it before him. Yet that year, 5 other people broke it. Look at inventions. When someone invents something amazing in this world, that whole year, there's another million inventions the same. The ancient Ayurvedic medicines, you know, the yogis and the Indian philosophies, they talk about something called Akashic records, where all of the universe information is there. You just have to tap into it. Tesla knew about this. Tesla was experimenting with this. Believe it or not, DARPA, even like military people experiment with this so-called, you know, energetic source. You know, I think they call it zero field or something like that. I forget the quantum physics name for it, but it's quite fascinating stuff. So yeah, you're right. You know, people feel this external element, and they may be tapping into this Akashic records that they're unaware of.
Yeah. I think people can even experiment and play around with this and try to do it in their own life in lots of different ways. Like, for example, what I do, like when I lift weights, sometimes like I'll visualize and I'll imagine that like Kai Green, who's like a famous bodybuilder, will like enter inside of me, and I'll have like 10 of him standing around me, and each one will enter inside of me, and I feel like the fuel of being him and having his power and consciousness inside of me, and I lift more weight because of it. And it sounds like crazy, but like you can use this for anything. Like you can like sit down and try to like, you know, get yourself into like you're about to do some writing, and then you just imagine like an amazing writer and, you know, the way they think and their consciousness, and just imagine like them becoming a part of you. And It does give you almost like these superhuman
Are
abilities.
you familiar with mirror neurons?
I've heard about him, yeah.
Yeah, so we have mirror neurons. It goes to analogy of monkey see, monkey do, and ties into the whole thing I'm talking about environment. We are the product of our environment. So we see people doing something, we want to do it. Now, some may do it consciously, like, oh, Brandon has that car, I want that car he has, right? But also subconsciously, we copy your memes, we copy your movements of body patterns, right? So, you know, you can see it sometimes when you have a group of guys standing together, and you probably experience this yourself. Sometimes you see over them like this, they're talking. Honest to God, they don't know they're doing it subconsciously, right? It's a mirror neuron. So what you're talking about is you are tapping into someone else who is ahead of you. Okay, you're bringing their true essence into you, and your body is mimicking the capabilities of that person, or mimicking the capabilities of that environment. So mirror neurons are very powerful. They can be used as a very powerful tool in your life, and you should use it every day. For example, this is how I use mirror neurons every day. I have fake certificates all over my office of stuff I want to do in the next year, just fake one. I go to the dollar store and buy those fake, those little frames for $1, and I write it like a little signature. I, Ameer, oh, congratulations, you did this. I throw that sucker on the wall. You know, I do that. I put images all around me, so I'm surrounded by my environment. My mirror neurons in my psyche pick this up and make that into reality. And it's so important that you surround yourself with either motivational people, motivational quotes. It's so important that you read autobiographies and get to the mind of other individuals. Like if you want to get ahead in the world, Isaac Newton has a saying, you must stand on the shoulder of giants. You know, learn from the people ahead of you. So study the people, get into their mind, because they've already been there, done that. You know, you don't have to go through the mistakes they did. Learn from them, you know, study their work, study their books, study their autobiographies, right? And naturally your mirror neurons will absorb this information. You consciously will not be aware of you mimicking it, but subconsciously you will mimic it. You know, we use it at NLP, you know, neuro-linguistic programming is if you're sitting with somebody and you want to develop rapport with that individual, and they do this, grand chess masters do this. Oh, they're sneaky bastards. There's a great book called The Art of Learning by Josh Weinstein. One of my top books of all time, also Tim Ferriss's #1 book of all time. And basically when it goes to NLP and developing rapport with people is, so if you're sitting down with somebody and you notice the tension is kind of, it's not there, right? And to develop trust, it's about building a zone of comfort and safety. People like safety. So if you notice that person is, for example, fidgeting with their toes, so the legs don't lie. Human beings can mimic their arms. They can hide like this. People think this is ignorance or they don't like it. It's not true. In fact, this means they're scared and they want comfort. They're comforting themselves as a baby, you know. So if you're looking at the person's feet and they're tapping their feet, you do the same thing. You notice the person's doing this a lot, you do the same thing, right? You notice the person's, for example, doing this, you copy that. So the whole idea is you are reflecting that individual. And it's egotistical, but everybody loves themselves. So that individual sees themselves in you, and that's how you develop rapport. So you can use it in business meetings. You can use it in everyday aspect of your life. If you meet a person that, and this is something I'm trying to work on with talking, because I'm a very fast talker, I'm a very high energy. However, if I meet people who are more slow paced and they're not really into fast energy, I turn them off because they're overwhelmed. So you have to take your time and understand where they're coming from. So if you meet somebody that's slow paced and they're relaxed and they're more chilled out, well, you have to become slow paced and relax, you know. And this is all about mirror neurons. And if you can master that, and I just give the analogy, be a mirror. That's all it is. Like, pretend you are literally a mirror and just copy people in front of you. But the key element over here is make sure the people in front of you are good people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All this stuff is a lot of fun. We got so much actionable takeaways from this interview today. So I want to thank you so much for coming on, Ameer.
Hey, my pleasure, Brett. Anytime, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, and is there anywhere you want to send people? I know you have AmeerRosic.com. Is there anywhere people should go check you out if they want to learn more about you?
Yeah, just go there. So that's AM with 2 E's. So AMEERROSIC.com. I'm also offering a free biohacking course there where I show you the top tools that I use to optimize your mind, body, and soul. So that's free. Go check it out there. And as well, if you're interested, on that page, you'll see something cool on the right-hand side is the launch of Rapara Clothing, the world's first premium clothing line to protect you from electromagnetic radiation.
Very cool, man. All right. Well, thank you so much. And everyone go check out Ameer. This guy's a genius. He's got a lot of stuff to teach. So thanks again, brother. And hope to have you back on soon.
Anytime, man. Have a great day, bro.